What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We are back once again, and of course, when you see me on your TV, on your mobile screen, or your computer screen, wherever you seeing me at, you know that the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and we got some pragmatic Lions news for you today. Y'all saw the thumbnail. What was it? What was the title on the thumbnail? What did it say? The Detroit Lions in Old Reliable, Old Faithful. The title is The Real Reason the Detroit Lions Trust Marcus Davenport. And y'all know I have been branded the Marcus Davenport hater. And I'm not the Marcus Davenport hater. I'm not. I'm telling you 100% I'm not. Don't believe it if they say it, because it's not true. Right? You were believing in your own hype, but it was too untrue. I need you to understand. And I think most Lions fans do understand. I have no problem with Marcus Davenport. Zero. None. None at all. Love Marcus Davenport. As a player, I hope he gets everything that we've said he needs to get from his incentives so he can hit his contract. I hope he gets all of that. I hope he gets all the play time. I hope he gets all the stats. I hope he gets all the production. I hope he gets all the snaps. I hope he gets all the stats. I hope he gets all the sacks. I hope he gets all the raps. I hope he gets all the caps. You know what I'm saying? I hope he gets everything. Bottle caps. If you know, you know, use the hashtag bottle caps. It's a currency. Fallout. Okay. Again, as I said, if you know, you know, use the hashtags. I hope all of that comes to fruition for Marcus Davenport. But the kind of stuff that I'm hearing coming out of Allen Park, from behind that podium or in front of the podium, whichever your vantage point is, going into that microphone, it's like we're talking about practice. Not the game. Not the game. Not the game that I love, that I would, you know, give my blood, sweat, and tears for, the game that I would die for. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. Not the game. That's the kind of stuff that I'm hearing coming from the coaches' mouths when they're talking about Marcus Davenport. Like, why do you believe that Marcus Davenport will, you know, be healthy? Because I've seen it. What do you mean you've seen it? Nobody has. Who has seen it? Oh, you've seen his ability? Yeah, we've all seen that. Flashes of ability. We've all seen that. We know he's a big man. You know, we know it. What up, though? Tactical sport game. It's nothing yet. We just starting to cook. We know that Marcus Davenport has all the skills. He has all the abilities. This one ability he doesn't have is called avail. He doesn't have the avail ability. Right? And the best ability is the avail ability. Y'all know about the avail ability, right? Avail ability is defined in Webster's as the ability to bring your ass to the football field and to stay on there. That is what Webster's and probably the Urban Dictionary and probably whatever dictionary you use. Okay? The ability to bring your ass to the football field and to stay on there. That's the avail ability. And this is the problem that we have with Marcus Davenport. Nobody is questioning Marcus Davenport's skill set. Nobody is questioning if Marcus Davenport is a beast. Nobody is questioning if Marcus Davenport is a big man, a monster who can do things that a man his size shouldn't be able to do. We love that about Marcus Davenport. But what we don't love is his avail ability. I'm going to tell you exactly what Coach Shep and Casey Rogers had to say, because they both weighed in and chimed in on the Marcus Davenport situation. They were asked this question in their media availability, and I thought the answers that they gave were outrageous. Okay, I thought they were outrageous, so I'm gonna read them to you. Okay, because in case you haven't heard them, in case you haven't seen them, I'm gonna read them to you because I thought they were outrageous. All right, so this is an article from the Doc, Detroit Lions on SI, John Macaron. So here it is. The first part is about Coach Shep. So let's see here. All right. When asked by Lions on SI why the team has confidence in his ability to produce at the defensive end position, Shepard expressed his tape has shown that he can be a force at the NFL level. Okay. We know the tape. Nobody is again, this is why I get frustrated. This right here is why I get frustrated. The fact that we passed on Mike Green. Okay, we understand Mike Green's issues. Okay, we understand Mike Green's issues. He doesn't take no for an answer, allegedly. Okay, and that's not somebody you want on your team. I get it. Okay, we passed on Donovan Ezeraku because maybe he's not the prototypical size that we want, but we then picked up Ahmed Hassanin in the 6th round, who's damn near the same size as Donovan Ezeraku. They're both 6'2". Donovan Ezeraku is what, 250? I don't know how much Ahmed Hassanin weighs. All right. But they're on the smaller side of the spectrum, or the smaller end of the spectrum. And as far as what the Detroit Lions like, that's this, right? You passed on Landon Jackson. Landon Jackson, 6'7", 6'8", right? 280. You're big enough, right? He's a big dude. We passed on him. We passed on so many people. We didn't re-sign Zadarius Smith. Now we have the opportunity to still re-sign Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith has to decide that he wants to take the money that's being offered to him. Okay, and he's trying to miss training camp and everything. He's trying to get his body right. He don't want to do training camp no more. He's what, 32? 10 years of training camp will do that to you. And that's fine. I don't have zero problems with that. However, we don't have any more opportunities to draft anybody. The draft is over. There won't be another one until next year. And next year is when we will understand if we were right or if Brad Holmes was right. Now, I want to preface this by letting you know, with no uncertainty and in no uncertain terms, I hope Brad Holmes is right, and I hope I'm dead wrong. Okay? I hope that, because if Brad Holmes is right, that means my team is better, right? If I'm right, that means that my team has the same exact holes that we went into the damn draft with and had ample opportunities to fix, and then we didn't fix them. And then we're scrambling around later on in the season, okay? And if I'm right, sooner rather than later in the season, we're looking for people on the scrap heap. We're looking for old guys, old people that they ain't played in a while. Bruce Irvins of the world. Okay, the Tyson Alu, I don't know. Okay, I don't know how many Alus are there. Alu. Okay, Alu. However many, we looking for those guys, right? These are the types of people that we are looking for if we don't make a move at defensive end with Zadarius Smith or Jadeveon Clowney. These are the names that are available. Okay. These are the people that are available that fit what we like to do. Okay. Big, strong, fast, crush the can, get to the passer. Ain't too many of them around. They don't just fall off trees, right? That's what Brad Holmes has been telling you. Edge rushers don't just fall off trees. Well, you have an opportunity to sign 2 of them. I'm pretty sure you ain't going to sign Jadeveon Clowney. Now what? Now we got to wait on Big Z. So, what up, though, Jesse Fan? What up, though, Motown Mitch? Davenport, he says Davenport is the master of IR. There you go. Teaches English, not Lulu's. There you go. All right. So let's see what Coach Shep had to say, and we'll break down his comments. All right. So he says, because I've seen it, we all know the only obstacle for Davenport is the health and availability. You started off hot, Coach Shep. You came out the gate hot. The only, I'm reading. He said this. I've watched the video and I've read the transcript. Okay, so both I had two opportunities. I said, did he say that? And did I read that right? We all know the only obstacle for Davenport is the health and availability. He says it's never had anything to do with his play, Shepard explained. I'm talking about since he first hit the scene as a first round pick for the Saints. It's never been his play. It's always been the availability piece, like it is for every player. No. That's where you're wrong, Coach Shep. It's not like that for every player. Because with every player, the best ability is availability. And the vast majority of players are available. When you break it down and you look at the situation from last year with Detroit Lions, how many players did we have on IR? Was it 22? Right? That's called a what? Anomaly. Because if you say 22 players, that's enough for two starting sides of the ball. There's 11 players on the field at any point in time, unless you have 12 men on the field like we did in the playoffs. There's 11 men on the field on both sides of the ball. That's 22 at any given time. That's football. So to have 22 guys on IR is an anomaly. It is not the rule. It is the exception. That's why so many people are up in arms. Oh, man, we had so many injuries. And because we had all those injuries, we weren't going to be able to do anything last year. And, man, it was miraculous that we went 15-2. And then when you got to the playoffs, oh, man, it was the injuries. No, it wasn't the injuries in the playoffs. We know what it was. But if you want to lie to yourself and tell you it was the injuries, go ahead. No problem. I'll let you do that. So it's an anomaly. Because the vast majority of players do not go on IR every year. It is normal to have a few people on IR every year. It is not normal for one player to go on IR every year. It's normal. Listen to me now. It's normal for one player to go on IR every year for a team. It's not normal for the same goddamn player to go on IR every year, everywhere he goes. Right? He goes to the Saints, he goes on IR. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings, he goes on IR. He goes to the Detroit Lions, he goes on IR. When we signed the man, he was on IR. Like he had 5 surgeries the offseason that we signed him. 5. Who has 5 surgeries in the same offseason? Some guys don't have 5 surgeries in their career. Some guys don't have a single surgery in their career. This man had 5 surgeries in one offseason. One offseason. On the same region. It was either 2 on his shoulder and 3 on his hand, or 3 on his shoulder and 2 on his hand. But he had 5. Okay? Let me see what y'all got before I continue. Said, come on, we know Brad isn't going to pick up an end. Okay, listen, we got to talk about the news now. He may not, but I'm just laying out to you because I'm not one of those people that's going to be talking about receipts and all this other stuff. But this is just well documented. So if the ish go left, I already said it. I told you that's what it was going to do. I told you it was going to go left. I told you it was going to go left. A lot of people told me it was going to go right. A lot of people told me it's going to go straight down the middle. I said it's going to go left. So this is well documented. I'm saying, hey, go check the tape. Go pull the tape. I'm not going to toot my horn because this is not a horn tooting situation. I don't want to be right here. I want to be dead wrong. I want to be doing all this bluster and all this other stuff, and I want Marcus Davenport to play all the games he's available for, all the games that are on the schedule, and then the games that are not on the schedule right now, which is the playoff games, and the game that's not on the schedule, but we all know when it's going to be and where it's going to be. That's the last game of the season. That's the Super Bowl, right? I want him to play all of those games, but what I want don't mean that it's going to happen. Okay, just like I wanted them to draft an edge and it didn't happen. Okay. Justin Fan says most games played in 1 year, 15. Exactly. 100%. Never 17. Never 16. 15. And did he do that twice in his career? Or he did it once. Okay. And we know the most productive year of his career was 11 games, 9 sacks. Oh, how many sacks could he have had if he had played 6 more games? Right? He definitely would have been a double-digit sack getter. Okay? But he's never been a double-digit sack getter. You know why he's never been a double-digit sack getter? Because he's never been on the field long enough to get double digits. He was one shy of double digits and got injured for the season after 11 games. Okay? I'm just saying. Justin Fan says once. He did it one time. One time. I think we threw some 13s in there. You know, he's had some 4s. Okay? He had a 2 last season. Two games. Just 2. He was on the roster for 3, but he only played in 2 of them. And he actually didn't even play in 2 of them. He played in 2, but he didn't finish the second one. He finished the first one, came up lame, had a groin injury, missed the whole entire second one, came to the third one, played like the first quarter or some of the second quarter, and was done for the season. So he played a game and a quarter and a half for us last season. Okay? Neither has Clowney, but a lot of people want him because Clowney's injuries haven't really put him out for the season like that. I went through, I did a video. I did all of Clowney's injury history. So I know it. And I know what you're saying. But since 2021, I think he's missed 0 games. Or 2022, since 2022, he hasn't missed a game. We never have been able to say that for Marcus Davenport, ever. All right, but let's continue with what Coach Shep had to say. Because it's only been the availability piece. Come on, man. That's the biggest piece, especially with Marcus Davenport. That's the biggest concern. It's becoming a concern with Aleem McNeil. And I touched on that before. It's becoming a concern because he continues to injure his knees, right? And if this is a season where you don't expect anything out of Aleem McNeil as far as injuries, because he might not even be back until Thanksgiving. So you expect him to be able to finish out the season because he will have missed half of it, right? To start. So then if you see something happen with him again this season, you're going to be like, bruh, Marcus Davenport 2.0. No, hope it doesn't happen. Okay. Aiden Hutchinson had a season-ending injury in the NFL. He had a season-ending injury in college. He broke both of his legs, right? He broke one in college, then he broke one in the NFL. He's good. Okay. Now he's got adamantium legs, because he is the Wolverine. I'm sure you get it, right? He's good. We're not worried about Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, freak accidents with broken legs. But you come back, you get metal plates put in, metal rods and steel and all. You're the man of steel. You got adamantium bones. We're not worried about that. Okay? So many people you can just rattle off their names and be like, you're not worried about that person being on the field. But that's why I say, oh, it's just like with any player. No, it's not just like with any player, Coach Shep. It's just like with Marcus Davenport. That has been the problem the entire time. It's never been anything else, as you said. But it's not as simple as, oh, it's just been the availability. It's just been the health. No, that is a problem, bro. That is a big problem. When you can't get on the field and you can't stay on the field when you get there, that is a huge problem. It is not a just this. No, it is huge, very large. Pause. All right. He says, and he's had some setbacks in his career. Every year he has a setback. Every year of his career, every single one of them. Like we said, 15 games. The most, somebody put the output in the chat. Let me see what it was. Because I was going to get, Just a Fan did it, right? So we have 13, 13, 11, 11 were his highest other seasons. How the hell? So we got 5 seasons worth. The highest one is 15. You did 13 twice. You did 11 twice. Last time I checked, there was 17 games in the season. Last time I checked. Before that, there were 16. Now, you got to go back to the days of 12 games per season, and you'd be like, all right, Marcus Davenport is solid. I mean, he's going to give you at least 11. He's just going to miss one. It ain't been 12 games in the season for a very, very long time. I don't even think I was alive when there was 12 games in the season. So, I'm just saying. Matter of fact, I'm sure I wasn't alive. All right. So it says he had some setbacks in his career, but I've watched that player take no days off this offseason. Okay, now when we get to this part, I have a very important question that I want y'all to answer. I want everybody to weigh in on this question that I have when we get to this part. All right. Improved mindset. Being away from the game for an extended period of time can impact a player's confidence. Heading into a new season, Davenport is hoping to be available for the Lions in the postseason this year. Shepard and Rodgers both indicated a goal has been set to work towards achieving increased availability. Davenport has already showcased to the coaches a new mindset from observing him at the team's Allen Park Performance Center. He's been here just as long as the coaches have, putting in the work, and his body looks different right now. I firmly believe in speaking with him is his mindset is different right now, Shepard noted. And then it's on me to understand what he's been through and kind of put a gauge on it, especially early in the process. When you look at Marcus, he's a physical specimen who can do some things that guys of his size shouldn't be able to do. So it's me kind of meeting him in the middle and telling him from my view, this is what I see for you to get to the long-term goal, which is to have him healthy in the postseason. When we hit that stretch, he's all in, but I have full faith in that player. Was he not doing that before? This is my question. My question is, he's been here just as long as the coaches have, putting in the work, and his body looks different right now. Was he not doing that before? Like when you signed him, see, this is the thing. We hear all of this about the character guy, the type of guys that they bring in here. Nobody lazy. No, you just eat, sleep, breathe football. Okay, you're a football guy through and through. You'll do whatever it takes to get on the field. Am I misinterpreting this? Did he just say that he hasn't been up to this point doing whatever he could to keep himself on the field? Now he's doing it. Now, after another season-ending injury, he's doing that. That's what I understood from this. Unless you're just praising him for something that he's been doing all the time. And if he's been doing it all the time, if he's been doing it every season, then why do you have faith that him doing it this season will yield different results? I'm just saying. So it's kind of a two-part question, right? Did this mean that he was not doing this previous years, that he wasn't staying in the building like just like the coaches were, that he wasn't putting in the work on his body before. Is that what you got from that? If you didn't get that from that, then the next question is, why should we now believe that because he's doing something that he's been doing every year of his career, that is now going to make something different happen with his body that allows him to hold up for the entire season and the postseason? That's my question. I want y'all to chime in the chat and let me know what y'all think about that, or what are your answers. Tactical Sport says he took his last final today. It took him longer to drive to the school than it took me to take the exam. Sound like you knocked it out the park. I don't know. I don't know what Clowney wants per year, but he's had 4 seasons when he's had 9.5. He's had 2 seasons of 9.5. He's had 2 seasons of 9. He's had a 10-year career. So that 40% of the time, he's going to get you very close to double-digit sacks. Extremely close. Marcus Davenport has given you that one time. I don't know how much Clowney wants. I don't. But if we're talking about production, Clowney has it in spades over Marcus Davenport. That's just the truth. Rogue Blue. Sorry, I said regular blue. The regular show. Rogue Blue says most of his contract is incentive based. If he has a similar season to last, he will only make $1.8 million. They are showing you they don't fully trust him. Yeah, 100%. I've said this. I started off the show by saying this, and I've said this many, many times. I want him to make every last cent of that $4.75 million. But will he? This is what we're talking about. That's just a lot of coach speak double talk. Okay? So that means you don't believe he was doing that before. Right? If he's doing that this year, you don't believe he was doing that before. Is coach speaking double talk? So if he wasn't doing that before, how does he fit the character? How is he the grit guy that we love so much? What up though, Chip Bradshaw? Chip Bradshaw says, to be fair, the injury last year was an MMA move. Not much he could do about that one. Right. I agree with you there. Someone chopped him or did whatever. But the question that I ask is, if it wasn't that game, which game would it have been? If it wasn't that injury, which injury would it have been? Because just like Justin Pham put out there, he played 4 games the season before last, and he played 2 games last season. Chillin', Chip Bradshaw. So I just don't get it. Tactical Sports says, I don't understand why people have this belief that Davenport is going to play more than 2 games. Right? I'm going to put his over under at 6. Okay? I'm going to put his over under at 6. I said on I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, cuz I was on LNU twice. Or was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, because we did the schedule reveal, right? Yeah, it was Wednesday. So I said on Wednesday that we're going to have a Marcus Davenport watch. The Motor City Cats are going to have the Marcus Davenport watch. Y'all know, if y'all ever read Pro Football Talk, and this is crazy for me to say, but you know they had like the prison meter, like days without an arrest. I had that first. Now, I'm not saying that Mike Florio saw articles that I was writing back in the day, okay? Because I used to do a little sports reporting back in the day. way back in the day before PFT started. And I had, when I talked about the NFL, I would have stuff like that, like days without an arrest. And I would make reference to those things because we had a lot of players getting arrested. It was wild back in the day. It was a wild, wild west. So we're going to have a Marcus Davenport watch. Will he be on the roster this week? You know what I mean? Will he be available to play this week? Now I hope Marcus Davenport, gives us some content and allows us to have the watch deep into the season. We might, I don't know if I want to do a video like every week, like, will Marcus Davenport be on the roster this week? Will he be suiting up? This is what happened. Look at this play. It looked like it could have been an injury there. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do all that or if I just want to make mention of it. Anyone know what his injury was when he was with the Vikings? So that's what I was talking about. The 5 surgeries. He had like shoulder and hand injuries. So I don't know what it was. Something that you only play 4 games and then you have to get 5 surgeries in the offseason. Yeah, I have no clue. But somebody Google it for us. With the addition of Tyleek, would Levi play more on the outside? Would Levi playing more on the outside make us feel more comfortable on the edges? Hell to the no. To the no, hell no. Hell to the no. To the no. Levi Rodrigo had 3 half sacks last season. No, not at all. Nothing on this current roster makes me feel better about the edge. The only thing on this current roster that can make me feel good about the edge is the impossible that we are talking about. Marcus Davenport playing out the entire season. If we do not bring back Big Z, if we do not make that move prior to the season starting, and Marcus Davenport doesn't wind up playing a full season, which is very plausible, then we will see why I was upset. Mass Unit Marcus, there we go. His nickname is Mum. Mass Unit Marcus. All right, let me get back to what they were saying. When asked what Davenport's new mindset looked like, Shepard replied, "I would say the confidence piece and not holding back, not gauging, not throttling himself, training right now like he plans on being in the season in November, December, not kind of gauging to get there. He's training right now in preparation for, I'm doing this year. I'm going to be available. Now there's things that happen on the grass that you can't control, but everything within his control, he's doing everything within his ability to make sure he's available." Brother. None of this gives me confidence, bro. None of this gives me confidence. Who trains in a way? What month is this? This is the month of May. Who trains in May thinking, man, I better slow this down. I might hurt myself here up in this weight room, up at this performance center, and might not be in the season in November. Come on, man. What are we even talking about here? This gets worse and worse. Every time you read it, every time you listen to it, it gets worse and worse. Bruh. It was his ankle with the Vikings. Okay, it was his ankle. And then why did he have 5 offseason surgeries on his shoulder and hand? Yeah, I mean, he getting surgery on stuff he ain't even injured. Bro, listen. I'm speechless, man. He's training right now. He's not gauging himself. He's just, you know what I'm saying? He's full go. He's in preparation for the season. Come on, bro. That's what, like, why weren't you doing that before? You know what? I'm going to give him some grace. And the grace that I'm going to give him is when you have a season into injury, the biggest thing is the mental, right? What we talk about Hutch, you know, we're not being the Twitter, you know what I'm saying, the Twitter doctor saying, oh, the way he's moving, it looks like he's got nerve damage, whatever. They said the same thing about J-Mo, and we see what happened. Okay? The biggest thing we say about Hutch is that when he comes back, he's going to have to trust his leg. And that's mental. He's going to have to learn how to trust it. Right? So I'm going to give him that grace and say he wasn't, whatever parts of his body that he was injuring, he wasn't fully trusting them in years prior. Right? He wasn't fully trusting the ankle last year, and that caused him to not train properly and be weak up top and get his tricep snapped. Is that what we're saying? That's the only thing I can give him. Okay. He wasn't fully over the mental hurdle, but now he's just told himself, look, man, I've been injured so many times. I'm just going to blast through this thing. I'm just going to persevere and power through, and we're just going to train like we needed to be training all along. That's the only thing I can take from that. He's been training on Madden video football. His groin game 2 last year, then the arm fracture. Right. Yeah, groin game. So groin was game 1. Groin was game 1, and then he missed game 2 because of the groin. Okay. So again, this is what they're saying. Rodgers, who joined Detroit from the Buccaneers coaching staff, has vowed to work with the former Saints defensive end to do everything he can to keep him healthy. Okay. Now, remember, Rodgers is not a doctor. Rodgers is a defensive line coach. Okay. But he's going to do everything in his power to keep him healthy. Okay. He's going to do everything in his power to keep him healthy. Okay. So he says that's the number one thing. I talked to him about it because that's the thing I told him in the first meeting. I've got to do everything to help him do that. Rodgers said, this guy is a tremendous player. It's just as you look at his career, it's always been he's this. If we can keep him healthy, this is another guy that stares me in the face every meeting. He's coming in here working. We've just got to do what we can to get him through 16, 17 games and see what happens. We think if he plays 16, 17 games, we're gonna like the results. I think we're gonna like the results too. What I'm seeing here, translation. Marcus Davenport ain't gonna practice in training camp, and you definitely ain't gonna see his ass in the preseason. Oh, we gonna have him in bubble wrap now. Oh, you bet your bottom dollar. We're going to have this man in some bubble wrap. We're going to have him in some cellophane. We're going to have him in some tinfoil. Okay. We're going to have him in everything. Because if you think we're going to put him out there on that football field to engage in football activities, when he can pull a Mr. Glass, you are sadly mistaken. You will not see Marcus Davenport at training camp doing any team drills. He will be off to the side working with trainers. When the team stuff starts, you will not see him. That's my translation. Because what else can they do? What else can they do to ensure his health? Just like they did last season. His workload in training camp was very minimal, and they got him to the season, and he still didn't last more than 2 games. More than 2 actual games played. Right? He played through game number 1, got injured at the end of it, missed game number 2, went out very early in game number 3. Chip Bradshaw said that means keeping him on the sidelines. Right. You picked up on that too, huh? How is he going to keep him healthy, keep him on the bench? Yes. That's it. That's 100%. If he stays on the bench, Davenport has a 50% chance of staying healthy. There you go. Bubble Boy Davenport next to Project Pat Martin. Oh, my goodness. All right. What else did they have to say about this man? Rodgers noted that Davenport has been on the wrong end of the luck factor, but the tape shows a player that is dominant and able to be an asset for the Lions defense. Detroit has made the decision not to target a high-priced free agent defensive end with the hopes Davenport can play an executive and execute well opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Some of the things he gets hurt on are just freaky. I'm sitting here watching the few games before he got hurt, and he was playing dominant, Rodgers explained. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But where I can help him, take some things off of him, you get this, and somebody else can get that. This guy is going to be a big asset to the team. Okay. So based on what Rodgers is saying, I can take some things off of him. You get this, and somebody else gets that. Nobody believes that Marcus Davenport, nobody at Allen Park believes that Marcus Davenport can handle a full workload. Here's my question. If you don't believe he can handle a full workload, then what is the meaning of this line? Detroit has made the decision not to target a high-priced free agent defensive end with the hopes Davenport can play and execute well opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. You hope and you wish. That don't mean you gonna catch fish. You wish and you pray. That don't mean he gonna play. Okay? Like, what are you... So, and this is when I'm going to get the Trust in Brad Holmes crowd to come in and tell me that I'm not the general manager and I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been saying this. Hoping and wishing is not a plan. Hoping and wishing doesn't open the kitchen. Let Brad Holmes cook. How? The kitchen is closed. Hoping and wishing doesn't open the kitchen. The kitchen is closed. How are you going to cook if the kitchen is closed? The decision not to bring in a high-priced free agent. Do you think that Zadarius Smith is high-priced? If you gave Zadarius Smith $12 million for a single year, is that a high price? Because goddamn Joey Bosa got, I think, 12.5. And we know Joey Bosa don't stay healthy. Joey Bosa is in the same boat as Marcus Davenport. Maybe he's marginally healthier than Marcus Davenport. How in the world is that a viable strategy? To hope and to wish that Marcus Davenport will be healthy enough to play opposite Aiden Hutchinson for an entire season, while everyone knows that if you give him a full workload, he can't. This is what this article just like everything was about: his availability, his health, and then Casey Rodgers comes in and says, well, I got to do everything in my power to get him to stay on the field. And what we gleaned from my translation and from reading between the lines was that what I have to do to keep him on the field and what's in my power is to reduce his workload. AKA reduce the amount of time that I have him on the field. So if we have 75 defensive snaps he can only be on there for 25. So if you're telling me he's a rotational player, who is he rotating with? So that was the answer to the question when we said, hey, 2021, Cedric says Ahmed or Z Smith. Ahmed is a non-factor to me, Cedric. Ahmed is a non-factor. Ahmed is a 6th-round rookie. He's a developmental project. We're talking about this year right now. If the season started tomorrow, is Ahmed an option for you? No. Ahmed has been playing football for 5 years. I'm not putting those expectations on him. I've said it before. It's nothing against him. I'm not putting the expectations. How am I going to put my expectations on a 6th-round rookie? Right? It's just, to me, it's as crazy as putting my expectations on Marcus Davenport to stay healthy for the entire season. What are we doing? Quick, someone go get this man some bubble wrap, says Motown Mitch. All right, 2021 Cedric says last year wasn't his fault, but they will probably just use him on 3rd down at first. But Shep said that's just at the start. Again, we're proving my point. If we're just using him on 3rd down to start, okay, and what is the start? The first 4 weeks of the season? Then what is our production going to be? Who are we going to have out there opposite Hutch? Levi? With his 3 half sacks? See, this is why we talk about what we talk about. This is why I look at it in the way that I look at it. None of this stuff is a viable plan. If you do not trust Marcus Davenport's health, and you shouldn't, because he hasn't proven to be able to stay healthy. He's a phenomenal football player when he's on the field, and that's very little. I think he's missed something like 40% of his games. Now, what did I talk about Jadeveon Clowney? I said Jadeveon Clowney, 40% of the time is going to give you very, very close to double-digit sacks for the season. Marcus Davenport has missed 40% of his games. That's crazy. 40% of the available games, you've missed them. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You fool me, you can't fool me again. If you know, you know. Use the hashtag. Hashtag W. He's just being eased into a full workload. But when does a full workload happen? When are you comfortable with giving him a full workload? Right? If you're not comfortable giving him a full workload until November, December, then what the F are you going to do before then? What are you going to do until then? Who is going to be on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson until Marcus Davenport is ready for a full workload later on in the season? This is why this plan doesn't work, because you don't have anyone currently on the roster. Now, if they go out and sign Big Z, everything that I've said is null and void, because now they have someone on the roster. If this is your plan, if you are going to ease Marcus Davenport into a full workload, which I 100% support, that is the smartest thing that you can do. That is the only way that I view you handling this situation correctly. Keep Marcus Davenport off the field until the postseason. That's what I think. Okay? But you can't do that completely, because he's got to play. You got to work him in. You got to give him a partial workload, trying to protect him and keep him available for the postseason. But you got to go sign somebody, because we don't have anyone on this roster currently that scares you opposite Hutch. right? We did our record prediction, and I said it's crazy. It's a crazy thing that they actually could go 15-2 again. Now, the reason I said that they could go 15-2 again, and I know some people think I'm crazy, is because the only teams that I firmly 100% believe we cannot beat is two teams that are constructed the same way. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That two-headed monster is going to be a very big problem for us. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. That two-headed monster is going to be a very big problem for us. Now, the Eagles, the way that we can beat the Eagles is we have to force Jalen Hurts to beat us with his arm, which I don't believe he can. Lamar Jackson can beat us with his arm or his legs. Both of those things. So he is truly a dual threat. If we stifle Saquon Barkley, which we can, okay, I know he wasn't running behind the Eagles, defensive or offensive line when we played him previously when he was with the Giants, but he was averaging like 2.5 yards a carry versus us. Now he's got a better offensive line in front of him. But we've been very good against the run. Okay. If we do have Marcus Davenport in that game, we will again be very good against the run. So if Marcus Davenport is healthy and he plays the entire game, that's a very winnable game. The roster as currently constructed is a roster that can go out there and win 15 games again. Now, it's probably not likely that you're going to win 15 wins. You're not going to win 15 games in back-to-back seasons because nobody does that, right? But this roster is talented enough to be able to do that again. Where we are not talented enough to do that again is when Marcus Davenport is not available. And when Marcus Davenport is not available, there is a huge drop-off to Josh Pascal and Levi Onwuzurike. Huge drop-off. So if you're going into the season and you're saying, Marcus Davenport, we're just going to use you on third downs, you can pin your ears back and get to the passer. We're not going to be using any of your run-stopping ability. We're not going to be using any of that because you're not going to play all three downs. We're going to put you in pass rush situations. If you're going to do that, you have to have someone else. You cannot go into this season with Levi Onwuzurike being your starting defensive end opposite Hutch. You cannot go into this season with Josh Pascal being your starting defensive end opposite Hutch. It's just not going to work. Rodrigo was a 6th rounder. You are absolutely correct. And I didn't have any expectations for Rodrigo. Rodrigo went in there and training camp and he was, we saw him on Hard Knocks and he came out and did what he did. The way that I view, if you are drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, the way that I view it is this: anything that you give us is a bonus. Because if you're drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, just like James Houston was drafted in the 6th round, and then he went out and gave us 8 sacks in 7 games. Then I had expectations for him because I saw him do it. Until I see a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder do it at the level of the NFL, I have no expectations for him. I don't even expect him to make the team. Dominic Lovett, I gotta love it. I love him. Don't expect him to make the team. I love his film. I love his tape, but he's a 7th round wide receiver. Don't expect anything. If he makes the team and then he's on special teams and he can be a returner and he returns some for touchdowns and he breaks off some 50, 60, 70-yard returns, 100%. All of that is a bonus to me. Do I expect him to do anything with it from the beginning? No. Right? I don't expect anybody to make the team that was drafted after the 4th round. I just don't. What up, though, Taylor Made? With Levi, at least they won't run on us. Bro, Philly gonna run on us with Levi. Baltimore's gonna run on us with Levi. Yeah, but Rodrigo came in and won the job. Nobody was expecting that. Facts. We got some big games early too. Yes, early. early. Like Baltimore is early. The Chiefs is early. The Chiefs is in week 6. Baltimore is in week 3. That's early. We start in the division. We've got 2 division games in the first 2 weeks. We got Green Bay, and then we got Chicago, and then we got Baltimore. We start on the road in Green Bay. We go home versus Chicago. We go back on the road versus Baltimore. We go back on the road versus Kansas City. We need somebody to be there in the beginning of the season. We can't mess around. Levi is moving to outside. You don't think him and Pascal are good enough? I don't think they'll improve more. You don't? No. Josh Pascal gave you 1 sack last season and missed a bunch of tackles on the edge. Levi Onwuzurike gave you 3 half sacks. No. Again, hell to the no. To the no. Hell no. What are we talking about? I do not have any faith in these 2 players. We are playing against goddamn Lamar Jackson. We're playing against Patrick Mahomes. We're playing against Joe Burrow. We're playing against Jalen Hurts. I do not have any confidence in Levi Onwuzurike or Josh Pascal to make a difference versus those players. He says, I mean, you're making good points. I think we're just trying to be hopeful with what we got. As I said, hoping and wishing don't open the kitchen. Taylor Man says, I was told Levi Onwuzurike was a Hall of Fame bound. I think I know who told you that, and that person is not credible. They will improve, just probably not in the win column. They will improve in other ways, which will make us a better playoff team. Big facts, I believe that. But again, the improvement, I don't believe is happening with Levi and Josh. They've been here. So Levi, you give him a pass because he was dealing with a major back injury and didn't know if he would play football again. And he beat the odds and he came back. Cool story. Great. Love it. It's hitting me in all the feels. We want to win football games. And not just football games. We want to win playoff games. And we want to get to the Super Bowl and win it. Okay? Josh Pascal? Nah, bro. You've been here. You've been here. And you've been bit by the injury bug too. And I understand, he had skin cancer and, he survived it and all that, man. Shout out to Josh Pascal for beating it. But can you beat an offensive tackle and get to the quarterback? That's all I want you to do. Beat a tackle and get to the quarterback. More than once. Right? 5 times in his career, he's done it. 5 times. He has 5 sacks in his entire career. Hopefully we can catch the Ravens before they get to rolling. Hopefully the Ravens don't come out to a hot start. Well, they start against the Bills, so that's not going to be an easy game. Their week 1 is the Bills. I don't know who their week 2 is. Sorry, guys. Brad Holmes is smoking opium. There you go. And that's the reason. That's it. I just want to see a better plan. This ain't a plan. This is not planning. Hoping and wishing, smoking and dishing. You open the mission with a broken ass kitchen. It's like there's not any cooking going on. What are we doing? But Broderick Martin is going to have a breakout year, breaking out of his pants from overeating. Wow. Even if Broderick Martin had a breakout year, okay? And here's the thing, right? If we talk about the interior pressure, if Tyleek comes in there and he's a monster from day one, right? And they're going to have to double him and they're going to have to double DJ and you're not going to be able to do much up the middle. But when you get to the edges, you're going to run away from Hutch. You're going to run to the other side. Because if Marcus Davenport is not there consistently, your best option is to go attack Levi and Josh. And from the metrics, when they're out wide, they can't win one-on-ones. So if you're double teaming the guys in the middle and you go, all right, Josh, it's your job to win a one-on-one. The metrics tell you, the tape tells you, he cannot do it. All right, they're gonna double team Tyleek and DJ. They're gonna clog up the middle. Levi got to win one-on-one on the outside. His 3 half sacks last season tell you that he can't do it. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm using the evidence that I have. The evidence that I have is the stats and the eye test, right? People weren't finishing. People weren't winning. People weren't finishing. Okay, and if you said, I think Levi and Rodrigo had like a 12% pass rush win rate or something like that. That's great. Where are the sacks? Finish the play. We had a saying in the Army, proper planning prevents piss poor results. Sounds about right. That sounds about right. I mean, I have less confidence after reading the article and listening to the press conferences than I had when I started. Had I not read the articles, had I not listened to the press conferences, I would have had more confidence in our ability to field a defense who is not going to continue to have the problem on the opposite side of Hutch. Easing in Marcus Davenport is really not an option. It is the smart thing to do, but it's not an option because we need him in weeks 1, 2, and 3 for sure. Right? We need him in these games. These are not cakewalks. The first 2 games, while we may believe that we own our division, they are divisional opponents. The only reason I didn't pick a loss to any divisional opponent is because we swept our division. And the year before that, we were like 5-1 against the division. So the Lions are making me more comfortable going, yeah, we own our division, right? Like the Packers used to. They're making me more comfortable with doing that. So I'll pick them to sweep the division. I'm not going to pick you to blow out your division rivals like we did to the Minnesota Vikings, but I'll pick you to win. I'm not going to pick you to lose. You know, but I do understand anything can happen in a divisional game. That's why they call it divisional. So I'm not going to get cocky, but the evidence shows me 11-1 in the last 2 seasons. I'll pick you to win. I think Tyleek may play outside some too. Maybe that's the plan. I don't think he's that dynamic of a guy. I don't think that's, you know, if you're trying to play Tyleek outside, then I'm going to mention a UDFA. Okay. But I'm not expecting anything. Keith Cooper who you signed, right, as a UDFA, is a similar body type. He's 6'5", 280, and he's an edge rusher. This is the type of guy that they want. He is an edge rusher. So if he's able to make the team and he's able to provide the type of big body, but with pass rushing chops, that I would feel much more comfortable with him, because Tyleek is a run stuffer. That's what he's known for. That's what he does. And the pass rushing chops that he has are very minimal. So you might wind up getting the same type of production that you would get with a Levi and Josh. And then if you move Tyleek from the inside to the outside, who are you going to put in there? Roy Lopez, Levi and Josh? I think that you know, if Tyleek comes in as a rookie and he shows you he's a force from the inside, you leave him there, because that means that you're going to step down from the inside, right? Your weakness is the outside. I don't think he's going to improve it, but marginally. So I would leave him inside and try to figure something out on the outside. Everyone wanted us to get a linebacker that could rush the passer. Well, we get him Barnes back. So here's my question to you. Do you believe that Derek Barnes rushes the passer well? That's my question to you. Notwithstanding the Dak Prescott missed safety, where he had a surefire safety if he just opened his eyes and made contact. I believe Derek Barnes has 4 sacks. That means he gets 1 a year. Right? So Derek Barnes may be blitzing, but is he getting home? And based off the fact that he gets 1 sack a year, the answer would be no. Now, would you rather have had Jihad Campbell or Derek Barnes? It's okay. You can say Jihad. And I'm not on the train that Hutch will be back to 100%. It will take him several games to trust his leg, I believe. Yeah, I believe physically he'll be ready to go 100%. But as you said, mentally, it's going to take a couple games, you know, or maybe he psychs himself out and, you know, he's so excited to play the Packers. So excited to play the Packers. So excited to play the Bears because he didn't get to play either one of those teams last season. He might forget all about his leg and just go ball out. It's possible, you know. But having your starting defensive ends come off of season-ending injuries starting week 1 with no other plan is, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know what it is. I would say it's crazy. But again, I don't make the decisions, but I can tell you what. Nobody around, unless you're just a complete sloppy, no one trusts Marcus Davenport's health. Not even the people within the building. Just like we said earlier, he has very little guaranteed money, and he has a contract which is worth up to $4.75 million. It's worth up to $4.75 million. Not that he's getting $4.75 million. He's got to hit all of the accelerators to get to $4.75 million. Shep will have a better plan than AG for blitzing linebackers for sure, I believe, just because he's a former linebacker. And I think that gives him a leg up when you're trying, and that's why I believe that the linebackers will be more prominently featured in Shep's defense. And that's why I thought we were going to get Jihad Campbell. Because y'all have to remember, go back to when we drafted J-Mo and Antoine Randall went up in the war room and he was like, yeah, thank you, Brad. Big Brown. Hashtag if you know, you know, use the hashtag. But I thought we were gonna have that same type of moment with Coach Shep. We draft Jihad Campbell and Coach Shep is gonna go into the war room like, yeah, because that's what needed to happen, but it didn't. We got Tyleek. As they say, failing to plan is planning to fail. True indeed. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. You know, at the end of the day, we all want what's best for the team. We all want to see a Super Bowl. We haven't seen one. So when they come out with stuff that basically says, yeah, nobody in here trusts his health, but we're just going to roll with it. We don't have a contingency plan. Our contingency plan is just that everybody's going to come back healthy. And everybody's going to come back healthy in various parts of the season. You guys like Mekhi Wingo? When's he coming back? He going to be ready week 1? Didn't he get hurt in was it the Buffalo game or was it Thanksgiving? I think it was Thanksgiving. He not coming back week 1. Aleem McNeil's not coming back week 1. Rodrigo's not coming back week 1. Anybody got that had a knee injury, you know, a torn MCL, torn ACL, you know, any of the LCL, PCL, whatever the case may be, all the CLs. The cruciate ligaments. They're not coming back in the beginning of the season. Right? Those guys are on the line, or those guys are going to be able to rush the passer from the linebacker spot. We're not going to have them in the beginning of the season. Right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, what is our actual plan? It doesn't seem that we have one. Just betting on the health of everyone is not a plan. And then betting on the health of people that are not even going to be available from the beginning of the season. Like, so the only team that I wouldn't worry about, and if I'm putting any worry, the only team I wouldn't worry about in the first 3 weeks of our season is the Chicago Bears. And this is because I believe that the Chicago Bears, they're learning a new offense. They've got new coordinators. They've got a new head coach and all these things. Game number 2 in a hostile environment in Detroit. Ben Johnson is going to be getting booed. Y'all better, if y'all go to that game, y'all better boo Ben Johnson. And boo his wife, boo his kids, boo all the children. Boo everybody in Ben Johnson's family. If he brings his mom out there, his dad, I don't give a damn. Boo everybody. If somebody's sitting next to you and they tell you that they are related to Ben Johnson, look at them in their face and boo them. Boo them until they move. Okay? That's what needs to happen with Ben Johnson. But because of all the stuff that's going to be swirling around, and I think Ben Johnson is going to be trying to do smartest guy in the room, and he's going to be trying to outsmart Dan Campbell. And he's going to be trying to show everybody, because we called him Osama Ben Johnson and we called him Benedict Johnson. He's going to try to show everybody what we're missing. I think he's going to outsmart himself. I think he's going to get a little bit too cute. You know how he does. He might have Rome and Doomsday throw a pass while they're down 14. You know? So that's the only team that I'm not really worried about in the beginning, even though it is a divisional team. I'm not truly worried about the Packers, but I give them their respect because they're a division. They're a divisional opponent, and anything could happen. And we're going to Lambeau. So hey, we need people, man. We need our defensive line to be full strength. We can't have Marcus Davenport in partial bubble wrap week 1. But then if you don't have him in partial bubble wrap week 1, then you risk losing him for the rest of the season. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, man. Which draft pick would you give up for the rusher you wanted? I don't think we had to give up a pick because there were several available where we were picking. And I know you weren't picking Mike Green because, like I said, he doesn't take no for an answer. The only one I think they were trading up for, and they were in the position to trade up for to get, was Shamar Stewart. And you were going to give up, I forget, you were going to give up, you know what I would have done? I would have swapped our first and given up 2/3 from next year. Because we did that anyway. To get a wide receiver. Mr. Tesla. Right? So now guess what we can't do at the trade deadline? If we need to go get an edge rusher at the trade deadline this year like we did last year, guess what we don't have? 3rd round picks. And you use those to swap for that player at the trade deadline. We don't have any. Unless we're going into the 2027 3rd round picks. We don't have any in 2026. So that's the problem. All right, just a fan. We will catch you mañana. Is that how you say it? Mañana? Is that it? Mañana. I don't know. Spanish wasn't my thing. I did French. I think it's mercredi. Monday, I think mercredi. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you. Without an edge rusher to step two. I really hope we run more 4-3 than we run 4-2-5. I really think 4-2-5 is a little too small up front. If Marcus Davenport is healthy, which I don't even like starting off sentences like that, then I can 100% see 4-3. I think we need also 4-3. Because we need Barnes, Anzalone, and Campbell on the field together at all times. So I agree with you. I feel like with the bodies that we have and don't have, I think 4-3 gives you just a better opportunity to stop the run and to also get to the quarterback. So. All right, you guys got any mailbag questions? any comments, concerns. We're gonna get the Discord popping. So I encourage you guys to go. So what happened? I figured out what it was. What happened was this. I used to be in this AI server. And my Discord would just be popping off for the entire day. So I turned off all notifications. And I remembered that. So I turned my notifications back on. Because it's a different Discord. So now when you guys hit me up, you drop a message in the Discord, I get the notification and I can go ahead and respond to it because I know it's there. So we're going to get that popping. So use it, start your conversations, send your articles. We got the show topics and all that stuff, everything, man. Just, go in there and talk Lions. And I will be around. I will be available to respond and to get into the conversations. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here, man. The Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and not static, whatever you do. Make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And I appreciate everyone for coming through, stopping by, hanging out, and having your opinion heard, man. That's what we do. Wait, what rusher do you want? Now? Ain't nobody but Zadarius Smith available now. Who did I want in the draft? I would have taken Shamar Stewart. I would have taken Nick Scordon. I don't think there's too many that I wouldn't have taken because we didn't get a single one of them. What up, though, Spirit of Detroit? All right, I'm out, y'all. Peace.